take advantage of it. I'm sorry, y'all. A leaf just flew in my coffee.
I've been trying to make my wallet fold all day. Cashing in my dreams, big payout. Underneath my money tree, big shade.
Hello, freaking flyers. Welcome back to another video on the channel. I'm Brandon. I used to be a guy who flies. I guess I still am a guy who flies. I'm a guy who hasn't been flying. But welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute. I have not talked to you all in 2 weeks. It's now like the 26th. I feel so much better. I am in such a better place. Let me lead with that. But I just wanted to check in with you all. Going to do a Q&A and answer some of you all's questions. And then lastly, I will tell you about my schedule for next month because April is already knocking at the door. If you've been following me for a while, you already know I was in a not good place the last couple of months. It was a combination of a lot of things. Nothing happened at work. Some people asked. Nothing happened with work. Nothing happened with my job. Everything was definitely internal, and I had lost a lot of intrinsic motivation, and I was falling out of love with the job, out of love with life. That was just not a really good place to be in. I could tell it was starting to, manifest in other areas because I was no longer enjoying content creation, which is such a weird space because I really started doing YouTube as a hobby, not to get rich, not to get famous, just as a hobby. I was just not good. My mental health was tanking. Luckily, this wasn't the first time that this has ever happened to me, and it probably won't be the last time. I needed to connect back to the things that bring me joy. So after my last trip, I had 4 days off. I came home to Virginia. I was supposed to work my last charter trip. It was a 7-day trip. I was going to Kenya, but I ended up getting pulled off that trip because my background check renewal did not come back in time. I ended up having those 4 days off, plus the whole 7 days of that footprint. I was just put on reserve, but I was never called. So I've been at home for a very long time, and being home has been so great, so fulfilling. I have been hiding out in the sticks, chilling, spending time with family, connecting with friends, doing the things that bring me joy. A whole lot of nothing. So with that said, that's where I've been. Charter season is over. We are going back to commercial flying, which means the regular 3 and 4 day trips. What I would like to do now is answer some of the questions, because this will make me happy. Questions that you all have been asking the last couple of months. All right, some of these I'm going to lightning through. If you want me to elaborate more, just comment down below. All right, so first thing, what are these charter flights? Majority of what I have been doing, vacation charter flights. They paid one price and it included their airfare, like their plane ticket, their ground transportation, the resort they're going to be staying at, and the person who organized it books the airline and everything for them. So that's mostly what I've been doing. Do you get paid for all of those days you are on a layover? Yes and no. We get what's called per diem, time away from base, from the time we check into work on day 1 until the time that we check out on day 3, day 7, day 20, or in my case, day 30. The clock continuously runs and you get a certain amount of money per hour. I think right now our per diem is like $3.75 per hour. So what's that? Like $3.75 times 24, what, 90 something? Like 90 bucks maybe a day. So if I'm on a 6-day layover, I'm only getting the $90 per day. That's why I often say I don't like long layovers, because you make your money in the air. Can newly hired flight attendants work on the 787 and the 777? Just speaking generally about aviation, pretty much I want to say for every airline, they hire flight attendants and train flight attendants to work every aircraft on the fleet. So sure, if they need you, if you're newly hired and they need you on a 78 or a 777, they'll call you for it. And if you were asking specific about me, we only fly the 787. Does your company pay for laundry on your layovers? That is going to be the company is going to be completely different. Most of the time, no. Do flight crews need travel insurance just like I would get while traveling abroad? Yes. But in our case, we are covered by our company. So our company has a group policy. Was it just you that got rerouted to India, or also other members of your original crew, Brandon? Typically, it's rare that a whole crew gets a reroute. Oftentimes, it's individual people that kind of get plucked around and pulled as needed based on your legalities. Hey, what the starting pay for a New York City base? Different for every airline, but if you're asking about my airline, I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no idea. If you didn't know, like, flight attendant contracts are public knowledge. We're unionized, so you can go online and see the pay scale. Is there a maximum number of hours per day? I'm assuming you mean duty hours, 24? And I'm not being sarcastic, I'm being honest. Flights are labels based on the length. Short haul, medium haul, long haul. Then you have ultra long haul. As long as the longest flight is probably the answer. And then you still have to think about the fact that you're on duty for an hour and a half or an hour before the flight starts and 30 or so minutes after the flight ends. Some airlines, depending on their structure, will have this is the most you can be scheduled for in a day. So it might be like, oh, you can be scheduled for up to 13 hours or up to 15 hours, and you have to give the airline permission to extend you. Can you tell me what happens if a flight attendant falls ill during a trip? Do they just stay in the assigned hotel until they have recovered? Also, does the airline take care of their extended hotel stay costs? The answer to the last question is yes. So your airline is responsible for you until you get back to base. Still speaking general aviation, not airline specific. The actual procedure of what happens is going to vary depending on like what type of illness it is. They might just deadhead you home. But if you got injured and broke your foot and now you physically cannot like leave right away, then yeah, you might have to stay in whatever city or country that you're in the hotel or the hospital until you're well enough to be able to fly again. Can you do a video sometime explaining the European legalities? Watch a lot of US based airline content and never seen a flight attendant on duty 15 days in a row and rarely double deadhead. Sure, I can. I can actually do, I won't answer that now because that definitely would need its own video. But I will say the reason why you don't see flight attendants on duty that long is because you can get across the United States in 6 hours. So it's not necessary for people to be gone that long. Other airlines that do long haul travel, you can be gone for a long time. Charter flight attendants often are gone for long periods of time. And double deadheads, I used to do them all the time at the animal plane. So it's just a matter of the airline that you work for and the network. If they can get you there in one flight, they will. If it takes 2 flights, it takes 2 flights. All right, next question is more so about me at work. Who do you fly for? I will never, ever name the airline that I work for. These people be out here for blood. I am not a representative of that company. And for some reason, people like to listen to you talk on the internet and then they like to twist your words and write news reports and articles using the things that you say. So I never say who I work for. If you've been around long enough, you probably can figure it out, but I will never say who I work for. I am just a guy who flies and I share my experience with you. And I appreciate it if you all don't mention it down in the comments, because oftentimes if I see it, I'm either going to ignore it or I'm going to delete the comment because I'm not trying to get hemmed up. These airlines are getting strict and I follow the social media policy, okay? And I'm not trying to have anything coming in the way of that. If you want more of me in the sky content, then let's just never mention the name of the airline that I work for. It will hereby be known as the airline. Number 2, how do you deal with bouncing around through all the different time zones? I don't. It's a struggle. You never get used to it. Your body never adjusts. Your circadian rhythm is forever out of whack, and it takes a major toll on your physical and mental health. I never get used to it. How do I deal with it? You just press through. 3, is there enough space on the plane bed for you to sleep comfortable being that you're so tall? Yes, I'm 6'4" and I fit in the bunks. When I lay down like this, my head does not touch this wall and my feet do not touch the other wall. I fit in there comfortably and I be rolling around. Sometimes I sleep in the fetal position. Hey, do you think your airline will get stricter with social media like Daddy D has? Listen, I hope not. I really hope not. And that is why I try to follow the rules. With all those places you have visited, what country is your favorite destination and why? Absolutely Kenya. Absolutely Kenya. Kenya, 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 Kenya. And I will say it 1,000 times. Kenya is the one country where I feel the most at home outside of my actual home that I'm in right now. Oh, what's your favorite layover? Okay, so out of the sake of not saying Kenya again, I will say that Rome is still my favorite layover because I am absolutely obsessed with Italian food. Was your other airline back in the beginning worth it? Did it help shape you as a flight attendant? If you had to do it all over again, would you start there now? You must be referring to the animal planes. Yes, and yes, and yes. It absolutely was worth it because I feel like the animal planes was exactly what I needed when I needed it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm the type of person that I'm pretty much a chameleon when it comes to work, and I can figure out the system and thrive anywhere I go. Any airline that I started at would have been a good start because that's literally what it is. The circumstances in which I started taught me a lot. Take advantage of it and soak it up. You really, I'm sorry, y'all. A leaf just flew in my coffee. If you had to do it all over again, would you start there now? Knowing what I know, no. Part of the reason why I left is because I wanted to fly long haul, and the animal planes doesn't fly long haul. If it was up to me, I would do 15+ hour flights. How was it living in Denver and flying? I hated Denver, and going that far out west, being a native to Virginia, taught me that I do not like the West Coast, nor do I desire to go any further west. The flying was nice. Denver was the biggest hub, and it was the biggest base at the time when I was there in 2019. So there was flights to everywhere, and I went a lot of places. Those first couple of months, I was outside Cedar Rapids and Missoula and Sioux Falls and Calgary, and it was just cities that I had never heard of. So the flying was really good in Denver, but Denver was also very senior. So, you know, how many total hours was that month-long trip? Ooh, that's a good question. I knew the number because I was just talking to somebody about it. I'm gonna put it on the screen. I'm gonna put it on the screen because I don't want to say the wrong thing. But it was a lot of hours and it was a lot of per diem. What is in the adult activity kit? Privacy. I will not share the contents of that kit, but just know that the contents include things that 2 consenting adults would need. Y'all are smart enough to know what is in that. Let's just say we stay strapped and we stay protected. How do you manage to put all that food in your lunch box? Oh my God, I miss packing my lunch bag. I have been using the eBags cooler since I was at the animal planes. I've used other ones along the way. Majecto is also a really good lunch bag. I use the same type of containers, so I know how many of them can fit. And I also pack pretty much the same types of things all the time. I can fit a lot of food in that bag. But after I stop recording, I have to like push down on it, crush some stuff on the inside, and pull the zipper. It'd be tight. Number 13, what tracker do you use? I'm assuming you mean for like flight. And I use the app Roster Buster. I'm able to import my schedule and it track, you know, where I've been, the countries, the hours. It makes a little mappy and all that good stuff. All right, last section. This video is getting long. My goodness. Are y'all still with me? Some of these are personal questions. What is the new camera? So I'll show you. The new camera is called the DJI Osmos Pocket 3. I'm gonna show y'all. And this is what it looks like. This is y'all right now. Cause I got like the creator kit, so it came with a couple of other accessories, just under, I wanna say $700. But that was my gift to myself, cause it's been a whole year without the my old vlogging camera. 2, what is that ring? I actually don't have it on right now, but it's in there charging. That is my Ultra Human ring. It is fitness lifestyle ring that tracks quite a few things. I use it primarily for tracking my sleep, not a wedding ring. I don't know, so maybe the camera's flipped, but I don't wear it on my ring like the wedding ring finger. I wear it on the opposite. 3, when did you start vlogging? December 2019 is when I started vlogging FlyWithAGuy. I used to vlog back in college in 2012. I will never let that content see the light of day again. Brandon, have you ever thought of putting money immediate donations on your channel? Oh yeah, like the little things where I've thought about it, but I've just strayed away from it. Like I said, I've never done this to get rich. It's just a hobby that I enjoy sharing with you all. And so I've always just kept it kind of like our little community, which is growing, by the way. Welcome to all of the new frequent flyers. I've been eligible for like the channel memberships and stuff like that too, but not right now. Maybe in the future. Are you not posting on Sundays anymore? Listen, I be in a rut. The goal has always been to post a vlog every Sunday, and then sometimes I'll post other content on Wednesday, Thursday, but it's a goal, G-O-A-L. And sometimes it be Monday, sometimes it don't happen. Now that I'm back working regular trips, it's easier to film a 3-day trip, film the next 4-day trip, film the next 3-day trip, and I just post them Sunday to Sunday to Sunday. So usually I have like a bunch of footage backlog and I just post it every Sunday. It was kind of harder during charter season because I was kind of filming a whole week at a time and I got thrown off. Who is editing Brandon? Me, him, he. Oftentimes in my video, I will make reference to myself. Literally what I just said. Sometimes I'll be filming a trip weeks before I even get to edit that footage. In the vlog, I leave notes for myself to remember when it's time to go back and rewatch and edit it. Like, oh, you really mean this, or you want to do this, or this is your intention. And just for comedy's sake, sometimes I leave it in for you all to hear, but a lot of that I cut out. We a 2-man show. It's just me and Jesus. How tall you think he is? He sit down. 7, why isn't your channel bigger? You are one of my favorite creators. Yo, I like my small channel. The people that are here enjoy the content and I like it that way. And also back to the earlier question about not getting shut down, the bigger the channel becomes, the more eyes on the channel. It can invite a lot of things. The minute you share anything on the internet, you've immediately opened up for the criticism. I like our little community here. I still feel like the channel is the same that it was back 300 subscribers. When I hit like 500, shout out to subby number 500, I still feel like the channel is somewhat the same now as it was then. And so I don't know whether it's 300, 3,000, 30,000, I still want to keep this small little tight knit frequent flyer community. If the channel grows, it grows. I like the coin, but I'm not chasing the bag with YouTube. Can I use you as a reference when applying? I've gotten this question in many forms and many different ways, and I'm going to say this in the best way possible. The answer is no. Okay, so 2 reasons why. The first reason is if you put someone down as a reference on your application at any job, you're putting that person down because they could either speak to you as a person and your character, or your work experiences and your work ethic. If I haven't worked with you, I can't speak to your work ethic, 1. And then 2, if you ask me on a public forum, if the company and the recruitment team is watching, then that tells them that you don't have a close enough relationship with me, i.e. you don't know me well enough and I don't know you well enough for you to personally ask me because you're asking me on a public platform. I'm going to err on the side of you can get this job, you can get any flight attendant job without using me as a reference. Last personal question. Who is this future you speak of? Yeah, sometimes I'd be on the phone with my future. Well, that future is the past now because we're not talking no more, but I was dating. Oh my goodness, look how long I've been talking. Last thing, I will go ahead and share with you all now that charter season is over. We are now back to commercial flying, regular scheduled trips. Last year, you all know I went to Rome the most times. This year, it will probably be the same thing. Let's talk about the schedule that I got. I haven't done this in a while because all of my schedules have been not to my liking, as is my April roster. I don't like it. I do not like it. It is what it is. I thought we were back to short trips. We are not, because the first trip that I got for the month of April is a 10-day trip. It's worth 60 hours. First trip is 10 days long with layovers in New York, Rome, and LA. Not a new layover city, but a new layover city at this airline. A couple days off, 4-day trip with a 2-night layover, a couple days off, and then I have that same trip again, and that is the month. So I have a total of 94 hours for the month of April, and it's a considerable amount of per diem. Not the chickens want to get active. Can I record in peace? Guess not. So yeah, and then I still have my 12 days off that we get per month contractually. So yeah, that's my April schedule. It's very mid, and I actually have posted all of my trips on the swap board. I don't know if I'm quite yet ready to go back to work. Maybe I'll extend my time at home. We'll see. But that's it. That's all. I want to say this video might come out on Sunday. That's a big hope. If so, I hope to see many of you at the flight attendant mixer in Houston. If you see me, speak, okay? I'm friendly, I'm nice in person. Let's have a good time. That's it, that's all. Thank you all so much if you made it to the very end of this long and talkative update video. We're going back to work soon, I think. If not, we'll find out. I'm Brandon, I'm a guy who flies, and I will see you all the next time.
No, a day goes by.